So I got a little repair job today. Got a big dump trailer. The hinges on the sides have broke loose. So the tubing on that riser is really thin, and they've pulled through on these barn doors. So we're gonna repair this. Gonna probably put some new material on the tubing, and then I bought new hinges for it before I seen it. I don't know that it really needs them. I'm probably gonna just replace half the hinge, the part that goes to the door. But that's what we're working on today. So we got this thing off, and then just the more I look at it, that tubing's paper thin. So what I think we're gonna do, I've got some 2-inch tubing, and this thing's barely welded on. So I'm gonna just cut this whole piece of 2-inch tubing off, and then we'll cut a new piece of tubing and weld it on there. And the tubing I got's a little thicker wall than this, so that should be the end of this little problem for me. But that's the plan. Alright, we got that dismantled pretty quick. Got it ready. Put a new piece of tubing in, cleaned up pretty good. One of my pet peeves, I always tell people that work for me, you got to think about everything you build. I don't care how strong you build it or what it is, there's a good chance somebody's going to cut it apart one day. And everything don't have to be welded like a nuclear power plant. I mean, it needs good welds, but stitch welds will suffice. And think about when you put a stitch weld up in a corner about the guy that might have to cut that apart. And it ain't even that your stuff might fail. They might wreck this thing or tear it off with a machine, and somebody have to fix it. Well, it's got to be cut apart, and if you got to look after the next guy that might be here to work on it. And this right here was done perfect, man. It was stitch welded. They didn't hardly weld it up in the corners. Like, I don't know if somebody thought about that or if that's just the way it worked out, but this one cut apart really nicely. But it's not always like that. All right, we got us a piece of tubing cut. It's gonna go in there. Ready to clamp her up and tack her off. We'll check square. I checked square before we started, and we was pretty close. So get that tacked off, and we'll be back in business. Alright, so we got our tubing in place, got that all stitch welded, so ready to go back in. And I was getting ready to line all that up. I noticed a little while ago the stanchion over here is busted. You can see the weld's cracked. So I'm gonna grind that out and get a square and check that, because I noticed earlier that when this door was closed, it was bowed out. So while we got it all apart, if we can get some of that out, that'll help everything. So we're gonna do that now. All right, got all this hooked up. Gonna start pulling it over, get it square, check the door, get it at least closer to this, and then we'll weld that off and we'll be ready to hang this door. So we didn't get all that out, but we got a lot of it out. And we got where it was busted, we ground it out, and it's all re-welded and shouldn't break again. It's more rigid, or not for a while anyway. But it did straighten it up some, but not all of it. So I ordered new hinges for this thing when they called about it, but there's no sense in cutting that backside off and re-welding them. So I'm gonna take these off and those off and just put the piece that goes on the door. I'm gonna replace those. And I'll get them swapped out, and then we'll be ready to set the door. All right, we got all these changed out. They got new grease seals, new bolts. Should be good to go. And we're gonna set this door. All right, so I was going through editing all that, and my phone went dead when I had time lapsed hanging the door. Sorry about that. I lost it, but do this bush hog next, and then at the end it shows the door hung. And I noticed I filmed one of them with the phone standing up, and you'll notice that. But actually I've done two of them. One of them I was able to fix, one of them it didn't fix right. But there's that. Sorry. Next up, we gotta repair this bush hog. Bones the sun got on the trailer, so we're just gonna go ahead and knock it out so we can stick it in the trailer. That weld's broke, so we're gonna cut a little plate to go over this, and we'll grind that out and re-weld that. That would probably be sufficient, but there's always like being a little bit extra. That's that. Got that plate on it. We ground our crack out, welded that back up, and then made a nice little gusset plate out of 3/16 steel. And ended up finding a crack over there when I got the grinding on it. But welded the crack, this crack inside and out, and laid our plate up there. Had a nice little fillet weld for that. So, I love these little repairs. I wish that's about all I had. Nice, simple, and profitable. Well, there we have it. Throw a little bit of black paint on her. This bush hog lighted up. I'm gonna get it all at once. There's black paint on that too. You got everything ready to go. That's a wrap. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. And that's it.